it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, villains, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. I must apologize for my audio. I have no idea what's going on with my computer today. It just will not pick up any of my external peripherals. That's the way it is. That's why I'm late today. But I can see here that the Aston Villa team is out. I am surprised with it in some instances. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share up the team here, and we'll talk about it in a moment. Thanks for waiting for me as well, by the way, guys, and we'll chat through this here, and hopefully everybody can see this. So Matt Myers shared the actual team sheet. I like this format because it gives us both the teams together, and Aston Villa's team being Martinez, Cash Konza, Pau Torres, and Luca Dean, which, you know, we spoke about that last night, potentially being Mings and Maatsen. Unai is seen different in that instance. You've got Yuri Tielemans, John McGinn, and Boubacar Kamara, who I wanted in there in that midfield situation. They've got Morgan Rogers and Marco Asensio behind Ollie Watkins. So I think the big news is obviously, look, no Tyrone Mings in there, but also when you look to the bench, that there is no Marcus Rashford there either. And that, like, it's come out since had a knock during training. Seems to be a slight hamstring. I think I saw someone put up on Twitter as well. So he's not in the matchday squad. So look, be honest with you, once again, last night when I was talking about the teams, I said if Pau started, it wasn't going to be a Pau versus Tyrone Mings one versus the other, or it wasn't going to be a Luca Dean versus Ian Maatsen one versus the other. We laid out our reasons why we thought that Mings and Maatsen should start, and we'll see if we were going to be proven right or Unai Emery is going to be proven right today. And in fairness, to be honest with you, more often than not, Unai Emery is proven right, except maybe not against Crystal Palace, considering we don't have the best record there. And their team today is Dean Henderson in goals, Tariq Mitchell, Maxence Lacroix, Gueye, where are we here? Chris Richards, I would say, and Daniel Munoz make up their back three/back five, whatever way you want to look at it, with Kamada and Wharton holding down the middle of midfield, Ismail Assar and Abrekeze behind Jean-Philippe Matete. So they've gone with their tried and tested 3 at the back, 2 wing backs with Daichi Kamada, should I say, in there, and Adam Wharton and Jean-Philippe Matete then up top as well. On the bench, they have Matt Turner, Joel Ward, Jefferson Lerma, Eddie Nketiah, Nathaniel Klein, Will Hughes, Roman Esse, Ben Chilwell, and Justin Devaney, who I thought might have got a start today, but obviously hasn't. The Villa bench, which I forgot to mention, is Robin Olsen, Tyrone Mings, Ross Barkley, Andres Garcia, Daniel Mallon, Ian Maatsen, Amadou Onana, returning Leon Bailey, and also Jacob Ramsey. So look, I suppose really this is the team that Villa have put out today. This is a team that's good enough to go and win today. And I said last night when I was talking, I said, you know, go and attack this team. Go and attack Crystal Palace today and stamp your mark on Palace early in the game. Ideally, we would love to have Rashford there. And I actually think if Rashford was fit, I think Rashford starts instead of Marco Asensio here, and we see the front three or the three behind the Ollie Watkins that I was expecting to see. But obviously he isn't fit, so he doesn't play, and he isn't even in the squad. But that team is good enough to go to Wembley today, put on a show, and for Aston Villa to get a win. I have no qualms. There's no excuses. There's no trepidation in my mind. If Aston Villa are a serious football club, serious about climbing the ranks of English football, are serious about staying at the top echelons of English football, we need to be winning semi-finals, and we need to be getting into finals. And I don't see any reason why the talent on that team there today could not do that very thing and getting to a final, an FA Cup final. That's not to denigrate Crystal Palace. They've got some very, very fine players in their team too. It's going to be a tough game, but don't live scared in a semi-final, as I said before. Do not play scared. You have to play on the attacking foot. It's a neutral venue. It's a venue that, you know, Crystal Palace haven't been to all too often. Villa have been there more recent, well, have been there a bit over the last maybe 10, 15 years. But obviously, it's not a home away from home or anything like that. Do not be overwhelmed by the occasion. I don't think the Villa players will. They're just coming back off playing in the Parc des Princes. They've played against Bayern Munich. They've had big Champions League nights. They're going to play it in big atmospheres where there's a lot of there's a massive crowd there. Think of it this way as well: Palace will have the biggest crowd they will have had probably all year supporting them today. You don't know whether you shrink underneath those lights or whether you grow underneath those lights, and that's something the Palace are going to have to deal with. Villa have come into this with that kind of nervousness, that overwhelming feeling of being in big nights, being in big occasions, being in big arenas with fans baying against you, loud atmospheres. And that's what I'm hoping today will be, specifically from the Villa fans. We know the Crystal Palace don't travel very well, and I know they're only traveling across London for this, but they don't travel very well. We know the Crystal Palace or that Aston Villa have travelled in their droves. I actually know of tons of people who went down there to get tickets today and didn't have tickets, and I know a lot of them have secured tickets. So I don't know what way it's going to be split. I would imagine there's going to be a huge Aston Villa contingent there today, and I really want to hear every single one of those people that are at that game to sing their guts up and, you know, appreciate the team that we have, the team that we want to get into the final and ultimately go on and win this FA Cup. So really, I think that this is a big moment. This is a moment that we should embrace the camera flashes. We should embrace the bright lights. We should embrace the nights that we've had already this season that culminate in semi-finals, regardless of the competition. And those semi-finals culminate in finals. And as I said before, if you don't win a semi-final, you'll always have a what if, why, you know, if we won that semi-final, would we have gone on to win that final? And don't let that be in the back of your mind, or let that be a consideration for any one of those players today. They need to go out there, they need to win this, they need to prove to themselves they can be in finals, and then the next step then is to win the final and lift the cup, because this team is bloody good enough to do that. And I'm not here for second place, third place, fourth place. I'm not here to make excuses about players not being in the squad or anything like that. There's 20 players on that team sheet there, and every single one of those players is absolutely well worth their position in that squad, and well worth their position in a semi-final of an FA Cup, and well worth and good value to get into an FA Cup final as well. So there is no excuses for me here. There is no, well, I can see why this is happening. That team has played together a million times, maybe not a million times, but you know what I mean. They've played 1,000 minutes together already this season. So they should be well able to play, and there should be no excuses not to hit the ground running from minute one in Wembley today. And that's been a long 8-minute monologue that I've just done there and spoken about. Stados says, Neil, you need to apply for Gladiator 3, getting me hyped. Yeah, I think I could apply for, like, maybe Lord of the Rings. I could be one of the dwarfs in Lord of the Rings. Maybe I could do that one. I don't know about being a gladiator. I'm going to come back and look at some of your comments here as well. And sorry, guys, some of the comments are gone mad on this as well. Oh, Matt Hamlin, Jesus Christ. Excuse my language. It's too early in the day for that. 100 gifted subs. That is absolutely incredible, Matt Hamlin. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for that. I think I saw someone saying, how do I redeem one of those gifted subs? They get apportioned by the system automatically. So I don't know is the answer for that one. But thank you so much for that, Matt. I really, really appreciate that. Matt, Paddy is somebody says, can't believe you're not here, Paddy. Paddy isn't in Paddy isn't there. He isn't in. That was at 5:54 this morning. Paddy is somewhere, but he's not in London today. Unfortunately, there was a clash with a holiday that he's gone on as well. Where else are we here? So a lot of guys, Matt Allen says here he agrees with Mings versus Pau. Love to see Ollie start at Wembley. Wembley's earned it. A Rashi Asensio pairing would have been good too, though. I absolutely think the exact same. I think this game was a Mings game, but I'm happy enough for it to be a Pau game. I don't play favorites with either of the two of them. They both have a different skill set, And I said that in the preview we did last night. They both have a very specific skill set, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with for whichever one that Unai Emery puts out. They're both equally adept at playing in this formation. Obviously, we know Mings is more guts and glory and will throw his body on the line more than Pau Torres will. But Pau Torres could be the one who plays that ball over the top that Ollie Watkins gets onto and slides the ball past the goalkeeper. Whereas Tyrone Mings may not have that 7-iron in his club bag. When the time comes. So it's much of a muchness. What you get from one, you take from the other. But it's up to everybody else then to be the person who puts themselves on the line and not expect somebody to do something that they haven't done all season as well. So look, they've played well enough together. Matty Cash, Ezri Konsa, Pau Torres and Luke Dean. There is no excuses in there for me. They all need to be a unit today, and they all need to play really, really well. I don't accept much as I wanted Mings in there. For me, it's not going to be a reason why I don't expect anything less than I would if Mings was in there today from that team. Where else are we? So watching from Vietnam, people watching from Boston, excellent stuff, guys. People watching from Newcastle upon Tyne, that's incredible. Not that you're watching from Newcastle upon Tyne, but just it always cracks me up when I see where in the world people are watching this from. So thank you so much for watching and for always coming to watch as well. So where else are we? Just looking at your comments here as well. So guys, talk to me about that Palace team. What do you guys think about that Palace team? For me, I've seen that Palace team a million times. It almost seems that we never see a different Palace team. Only difference might be that Jefferson Lerma might be in there instead of Kamada, or that we see Cheick Doucouré in there instead of Kamada, or Will Hughes in there instead of Kamada. Never seems to change too much that first 11. So, we should be pretty familiar with it. For me, obviously, the danger guys, Ismail Assar, Abrike, Eze, Mateta is going to be a handful up top as well. And obviously, as we know, the golden boy, Adam Wharton is going to be somebody we need to stop dictating play in the middle of midfield. But there are areas that we can get at this team. I'm not 100% convinced by the likes of Mark A, Chris Richards, and Maxence Lacroix. You can get at them. You can pull them wide. That's what I was hoping Rashford would be playing today, but he's not. And I think that's why he's going with Rodgers. What it looks to me to be is going to be Rodgers on the left, maybe Asensio through the middle, and Mings on the right-hand side is what it looks like it will be for me today. And I think he's going to keep them honest by running directly down those channels to try and pull those centre halves out to create maybe a 2 versus 1 for Ollie in there, or 2 versus 2 as Asensio gets onto the dropping ball or to the second balls in the center of the box, or as balls are crossed into the box, should I say as well. So I think that's I can see, like, as always, every time we do a Crystal Palace team sheet tantrum, you can always see the weakness. It's about exploiting it. And I think that for once, definitely in the last 2 or 3 games we've played Palace, Unai Emery has not changed things up too much. If anything, he's gone completely and utterly the way he would normally do, the tried and tested way. And, I think that's good because sometimes we've played once, I suppose, really, when we lost 4-1, we played to their tune. And for reasons being maybe that there was injuries at the time. Now we're back to full strength. We shouldn't be cowering. We shouldn't be bending the knee to anybody with regards to team setups and stuff. We go out, we play their way, we exploit their weaknesses. They try and exploit ours, and then who's more sturdy, I think, at the end of the day, then is going to be in the FA Cup final. And I'm absolutely pumped, if you guys can't tell, about this. The worst thing about a game being at 5:15 is you have to wait all day for it. Well, not as much as you would if it was a Champions League game. But on a Saturday, I've been trying to find odd jobs to do. I've been listening to Cleveland Browns coverage after the draft last night, some head-scratching things there. And thankfully, we don't have that many head-scratching or any head-scratching decisions that will be made by Unai Emery today, because I've just scratched a bigger sunroof in the back of my head from some of the draft decisions the Cleveland Browns made last night, even if my sunny side and my optimistic disposition is transposing itself in that sphere as well as it is transposing itself in this sphere here as well, and trying to make sense of things as I always try and do. But I think that I think it's going to be a really, really good game today, and I'm interested. I'm going to come back here to your comments and just see where we are with regards to what you guys said on the. Sorry, I can't even talk. No, on the Crystal Palace team. Did anyone put anything in the Crystal Palace team? I don't know. Did anyone put in there? Seeking is watching in Erdington, in the posh part of Erdington. Somebody's watching from Kinsale. Peter is watching from Kinsale. Lovely part of the country as well. Super part of the country. Florida, Anthony Gosra is watching from Florida. Jamaica, Justin's up in Jamaica as well. More people from Vietnam as well. Actually, an interesting one. Aside, while you guys are putting in your Crystal Palace thoughts there, when I was the night before my wedding, I met an absolute gentleman called Matthew in a pub in the actually literally geographically smack bang in the middle of Ireland, and he came up to me and he goes, "I watch your podcast all the time," and the two of us had a few pints, and we were drinking for the night, talking about Aston Villa. So Matthew, if you're watching, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. It was great to talk to another Villa head, even if I was smack bang in the middle of all family and extended family and future new family and friends and all that. It's always great to talk Aston Villa. So thanks a million for a great night. To be honest with you, it was nearly 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I rolling into bed the night before my wedding. So it was, but I enjoyed every second of it. Where else are we here watching? Michael O'Brien's watching from his living room. Maidstone. Somebody watching it. Abbeyfield. An Abbeyfield lad. Is that seeking you an Abbeyfield, man? That's an interesting one, because I played soccer against Abbeyfield many's a time. And then Ernest is watching from Niagara Falls. I love it. Absolutely love it. British Columbia, with Jordan from British Columbia as well. From Denmark, Remy's here from Denmark too. That's brilliant. That always blows me away where everybody is from. It really does. Where are we here as well? Watching from Donegal, says Richie Ryan. Iceland, Bangor, County Down. Albuquerque, love it. More people from Jamaica, love it. County Derry. I'm going down through these here just as I'm trying to get to the Crystal Palace talk that you guys might have here. David Winter from Edenderry, great to see you. From Seoul, Los Angeles, and Kuwait. Bladnader says he's in Kuwait. I haven't had a comment in there about Crystal Palace yet, so I'm going to talk a small bit about Crystal Palace here myself. John Steele, of course, from sunny Limerick, and Daryl from Solihull. Techno Obliterator from San Antonio in Texas. So I'm going to talk here a small bit about. Paddy used to ask me questions. He used to ask me a question, who from the Crystal Palace team would get into the Aston Villa 11, or who from the team we were playing would get into the Aston Villa 11. And you know what? It's a really interesting one, because Palace have some really, really good players, super players, in fact. Like if you were to take it in a vacuum and just look at the Palace players, you'd say Mark Gay might get into that 11. You would say Eze would get into that 11. You'd say Adam Wharton would get into that 11. That's probably what we're looking at here. Some people might see Jean-Philippe Mateta might get into that 11 as well. But the reason that I'm bringing that up, and why I say if you look at it in a vacuum, that Aston Villa 11 is bloody good. It's bloody good. So sometimes when we look at a team and we say that team has some good players, this is no slight. This is me kicking dirt in the face of Crystal Palace at all. This is me celebrating what I think Aston Villa have done with their squad at the moment. The reason I say that is that if, the question I was going to ask you guys, does anybody here in the chat, if we were to say from the Aston Villa bench, do we think anybody from the Aston Villa bench would get into that Crystal Palace starting 11? And once again, this is not kicking dirt in the face of Crystal Palace. This is me celebrating on a semi-final day the great work that the club have done in assembling the squad that we have at the moment, even with Marcus Rashford out at the moment. We've done a really, really good job of that. Time-wise, we'd be looking at our subs and going, well, we've 2 goalkeepers. Well, we've got 3 fellas that are only 17 years of age. Sometimes we'd have people in the chat going, who's Travis Patterson? Things like that. And those days are less and less now. In fact, when we have a full squad, they're never happen. We never have the two goalkeepers on the bench, apart from Champions League games when Sam Proctor got on there as well. So that's why I wanted to do this little exercise, because again, I'm coming back to what I said at the very, very start. Aston Villa should not be scared today. There is no excuses for Aston Villa getting caught with an early goal and going, oh, jitters being in Wembley. Oh, the big day. You know, it took us a while to settle into the game. That would be fine if Aston Villa hadn't played in Europe for 2 years in a row, hadn't gone to the Ajax Arena, hadn't gone to the Amsterdam Arena, hadn't gone to Lille away and played under that atmosphere, hadn't gone to Olympiacos away and played under that atmosphere, hadn't played against Bayern Munich, Juventus against even the Celtic game. There was a massive atmosphere of expectation there, and I think Aston Villa would be going here with a massive atmosphere of expectation as well. These are the games that Villa have played over the last 2 years. Nerves don't come into it. Big occasions don't come into it. We should be teeth tested here. Yes, we might have a bit of white line fever like we always have, you know, trying to get it over the line or conceding goals in the last minute. That too needs to be leveled out. But you can't win things if you concede early and you concede late, which is something Villa have done. And I don't want that to be an issue today. It will not be an excuse from anyone. If you hear it from a player, from a manager, from a pundit, whatever, it should not be an excuse. Aston Villa conceded a goal late. Why? Because they were tired from playing in games. No, not an excuse. Not an excuse currently. Aston Villa conceded a goal early. Oh, why? Oh, maybe the moment just caught them. Not an excuse. Not an excuse. Aston Villa are good enough to go out and win this cup. They should want to win this cup. They should want to be the team, the first team to do it in 68 years, I think it is. I think it'll be 68 years since we've lifted the FA Cup. That is too long. That is too long, considering it has been monopolised by the so-called Big Six recently. And then you've got you've got a smattering of teams. You've got Leicester and those guys all around over the last 10, 15 years as well. Villa need to put their name on silverware. They need to put their name on silverware. That's what makes you immortal. That's what makes you part of the fabric of a club. We have a group of players here that we've never had before. I'd go so far as to say we have a group of players here, I suppose, be more realistic, that we haven't had in 20 years, 25 years. And they need to do something. They need to be remembered, not just for finishing fourth. I said it before, you can't drink out of fourth place, but you can drink out of an FA Cup. And you have to win semi-finals to get into finals. And I'm going to finish it up here on this one, guys, before I get you to do your score predictions, and we'll do that before we leave. But you have to believe in yourself, and you cannot go out there with a rabbit in the headlights mentality that maybe, you might have expected Villa to do in the past. That's over. There's no feeding our way into this game today. We go there, we're like a train off the tracks. From minute one, we attack them. We make sure Palace are the team that know or that are looking up at those lights, that understand that Villa have been in big games this year, and that we nullify their very good players, their brilliant players, which they have on the team, the Ismail Assars, the Ezes, the Matetas, the Adam Whartons, the Macraes, even their goalkeeper, Dean Henderson, is a really good player. Nullify all those players because we're bloody good enough to do it. We've done it against huge European names, and that's not belittling Crystal Palace, but it just means that if Villa need to stamp their authority in this and put in a statement game, we need a statement game. We need a statement game. And why not do it in a semi-final and put yourself with your chest out in good stead for the final? So that's my impassioned plea to Aston Villa today. And I wish my microphone was working, because I think it's such a momentous game for Villa today. I really, really think it is. He asked me to give up on the Cleveland Browns. I'm following them the bones of 30 years. I can't give up on them now. I could have given up on Villa when they're championship as well, but unfortunately, I'm Browns for life at this stage. I've been over the First Energy, or Huntington Bank as it's called now, 4 times. So, and I plan to go to the game in London and maybe catch a game in Cleveland this year as well. So we will see. But that's talk for another day. So I'm going to start today with Elizabeth Farrell. She's going with 3-1 to Villa. So is John Steele. Sigurd is going for 4-1 to Villa. 2-1 is Matt Hanlon. 6-6 at full time, says Bladnetter. 2-1 says Rachel Insel. Lewis Peter's going for 2-2. Where are we? PD is going for 3-1. 2-1 says Fuzzy. 2-1 says David Dwyer as well. Did I miss a load of them? 3-2 says Paul McAllister. 2-0 says Techno. 2-1 says Chris. Teep is going with 3-1 with an Excelsior brace. I must have missed a ton at the start. Did I? No. I didn't. Get your scores in there, guys. 3-2 says Aaron Cunningham. 2-0 says Mr. Pond. 5-1 says Patrick. 2-1 says Aston. Bradley's going for 3-1. Stato's going for a penalty shootout win. Don't do it to me, Stato. Richie Ryan is going for 3-1. Black Country Villain's going 2-1. Kibbles is going for 3-1. 3-3 says In Your Head, Change Man. David Winter's going for 3-2 to Villa. And I suppose I better tell you what I'm going for. I'm going for a statement win. I'm going for a 3-1 win. I'm going for Villa to go 3-0 up. And I'm going for Palace to get a goal in the second half. And that's what I want. That's what I want to see this Aston Villa team do. In an FA Cup whereby it's up for grabs. In an FA Cup whereby on the other side of the draw, and once again, this is not kicking dirt in the face of Crystal Palace. They're a very formidable team who have our number and we need to beat them. But you do need to also, once you beat Crystal Palace, you have to look across the bracket. And in a year whereby every team is susceptible to losing, you need to be on your game and you need to win that semi-final. And you need to do it in such a way that the other bracket is looking towards you and going, these guys are hitting fire at the right time. And we have been in the league. I know people would say the Man City loss, the 2-1 loss at Man City is a blip on the copybook. It really is. And it is. But prior to that, we were very much the form team in Europe. Let's bring that form that we had from Europe into this game. And again, as I say, no excuses. Win your semi-finals and become a legend in the final. But you can't get into the final. You can't win a final. You can't lift the cup if you don't win a semi-final. And it is very much so cliche. That's why I'm bullish about this game more so than anything else. I am more bullish than I am nervous with regards to this game. And I think that if Villa are serious about upsetting the apple cart of the top six, they need to win a trophy. You won't get a better chance to do it than today. Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace is on in 21 minutes. I'm going to leave you guys to go and do it. I've amped myself up. I'm going to get a drink. I'm going to eat the dinner beforehand, get a drink, watch the game with my father who's inside and my little lad. And hopefully I will be back here talking about an Aston Villa win after the final whistle, right on the final whistle with you guys. So in the meantime, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy. Here's to an Aston Villa win. And all that's left to say is up the Villa.